All right. So, a comment that I had from multiple students was that they wanted to learn how to draw muscles better. They wanted me to go a little bit more in depth about that. And I think it's important that if we were to go in depth about it, we need to know what the muscles do. So, in general, for the arm, there are three main areas that we're kind of focusing on. And they can be broken up into multiple areas after that. But we have the shoulder, or the deltoid. We have our bicep and tricep. So we got 1, 2. And then we have our forearm muscles, 3. Now, you need to know what each muscle does when the arm is in different positions, such as a bent position. At that point, our bicep is going to flex. It's going to become bigger. When that bent position becomes flat, it stretches out. Muscles mainly contract and, I don't know the word for not contracting, but extend. Yeah, muscles contract and they extend. So when our arms are bent, our biceps contract. When they stretch out, our triceps contract. So you want to make sure that when you're drawing different poses, you can show that as well. All right, I'm going to move on from our bean sheet here. So we have a pose right here. I kind of like this pose. I'm not going to go super in depth except for the arms. I'm going to kind of give a rough idea as to what's going on here. Drawing that pelvis, his chest. It's kind of leaning towards this way. All right, we've got circle here. His ear like that, and there we go. So, start off, of course, our shoulder joints are going to be off the ribs. All right, I'm looking. I like this picture here because we see an example of foreshortening. Now, foreshortening, as we talked about, is when an object is coming towards you. Let's say this is a fist. I'm not going to draw the arm coming up, to the right, to the left, down. I'm going to start to draw the arm behind it. Right? That's how you would draw a foreshortened arm there. Got chest. Right? So, in this case, we have his arm coming down here, goes past his ribs. I'm going to do a smaller line right there, and then his hands like this. All right, for the other arm, it's coming down. It's going to be a little bit above this part right here, and then his arm kind of reaches down like that. Okay. So, connect the collarbones. How would I start this? So I'm looking at it. All right. I like to start off with the deltoid, shoulder muscle. For the general arm shape, I try to go parallel with my gesture line at first and come a little bit closer at the wrist, because we say things get a little bit slimmer at the wrist, and I can start to add in the muscles a little bit later. So same deal here. I'm going to come up, come parallel, draw in the shoulder. All right, here, from this angle, my forearm is going to have a lot more mass up here, closer to the joint, and it's going to taper off into the wrist like that. Okay? So, now I need to start adding in my muscles. So I know since this is extended, his triceps are going to be a little bit bigger, a little bit more swollen. So I'm going to give him a little bit more mass up here. It's okay to look back at reference. If you guys are wondering, this is Andrew Loomis. He's a great figure drawer. The tricep is separated into two parts, kind of creates a horseshoe right here on the arm. So that's what I'm going to show here. It's not 100% apparent in my person, but I like to exaggerate it a little bit. Alright, it's going to come into the elbow. I'm going to make that elbow really apparent. Now the forearms are going to be nice, big, and stocky, closer to the elbow. I'm going to have them slim down closer towards the wrist. Alright, that arm's not looking too bad. If you want, you can add in the back muscles as well. Alright, so moving on to the next arm. Now, since his arm is bent in this position, I can't really see his bicep too much. I more so see his tricep, but it's not going to be as flexed as that one right there. So this one's going to be a lot more relaxed. Still going to have a little bit of mass to it, but it's going to taper down into the elbow here. And I'll still draw in that line right there. Now for the foreshortened arm, I like it because you can't really add too much to it. Right? And then I'm going to draw in the hands. Okay? Can add a little bit of contour. Help define the arms a little bit. Now I went a little too heavy with the gestures, so this next one I'm going to try to not be so heavy so we can focus a little bit more on the arms. Come on. Alright, next we are going to be drawing an arm in the bent position where you can kind of see the bicep. So I marked out my shoulder points. I can't really see his shoulder point here. If anything, it's more so back here, but it's okay. I'm gonna be all right. Should have made his head a little bit bigger. But this video's focus is on the arms. Let's stay on track. 1, 2. Alright, so I'm going to start off by giving the arms a little bit of mass first. And then having it come closer towards the wrist. Alright, I'm going to add in some muscles now. And that deltoid, it's a nice rounded out shape. When your arm is raised, like this, right here in the pit, you're going to see a little C right here. And this is where the joint is actually. This is where the muscle is surrounding the joint. The joint's going to be right in there. So I like to add that little detail. Now, in this picture, we have his bicep jutting out a little bit more. His tricep is kind of relaxed, so that's what I'm going to showcase here. It's going to have a little bit more mass closer to the deltoid, his shoulder. It's going to kind of taper off towards his elbow. But right here, since his wrist is facing like this and it's not facing towards his body, right? Kind of show you here. You can kind of see it right here. When your wrist or your palm is facing away, that bicep goes down. But when you face it towards yourself, bicep comes closer up to the shoulder. So since his wrist is facing a little bit more out, this bicep is going to be a little bit closer to the pit of his arm and his elbow. So that's what I'm going to show right there. Okay? Alright. Add in some forearm details here. Make elbow jut out a little bit. Have this forearm peak in the middle. Have this peak right here. Have it taper off into his hand, where we can see him holding his little gun. There we go. All right. All right, back to the other arm. Since it's nice and extended, his bicep is not going to be too much of a problem. Let me draw in a little bit of his back really quick as well while we're here to help us see where things end on the other side. Okay. Nothing too much is happening with his bicep. His tricep is going to be up here facing upwards. Okay. Drawing in that little shape that we saw in our Loomis book. All right. Have a little bit more mass right here. And then I'm going to have this come out, meet right there. Now this angle's weird for his hand. His thumb's like this. And the other fingers are like this. You can just barely see that one. All right, and here we have our arms. So, next video, I am going to go over legs and how we would draw legs to the human figure. I'm going to try to do various body parts, kind of see, what my students need. As always, if you want to see a particular body part, watch me do something, just write it down in the comments. I'll try my best to get to them as quickly as possible. Alright guys, thanks for watching. See you next time.